John chapter 1, verses 14 through 18. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bare witness of him, and cried, saying, This was he of whom I spake. He that cometh after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. And of his fullness have we all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. No man hath seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. Moses was employed by God as a servant to convey to Israel the moral and ceremonial law, Hebrews 3:5. As a servant he was faithful to him who appointed him, but he was only a servant. The moral law which he brought down from Mount Sinai was holy and just and good, but it could not justify. It had no healing power. It could wound, but it could not bind up. It worked wrath, Romans chapter 4, verse 15. It pronounced a curse against any imperfect obedience. The ceremonial law which he was commanded to impose on Israel was full of deep meaning and typical instruction. Its ordinances and ceremonies made it an excellent schoolmaster to guide men towards Christ, Galatians chapter 3, verse 24. But the ceremonial law was only a schoolmaster. It could not make him that kept it perfect as pertaining to the conscience, Hebrews chapter 9, verse 9. It laid a grievous yoke on men's hearts, which they were not able to bear. It was a ministration of death and condemnation, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 7 through 9. The light which men got from Moses and the law was at best only starlight compared to noonday. Christ, on the other hand, came into the world as a son, with the keys of God's treasury of grace and truth entirely in his hands, Hebrews chapter 3, verse 6. Grace came by him when he made fully known God's gracious plan of salvation by faith in his own blood, and opened the fountain of mercy to all the world. Truth came by him when he fulfilled in his own person the types of the Old Testament, and revealed himself as the true sacrifice, the true mercy seat, and the true priest. No doubt there was much of grace and truth under the law of Moses, but the whole of God's grace and the whole truth about redemption were never known until Jesus came into the world and died for sinners. For meditation, the requirements of the law are very demanding, Galatians chapter 3, verse 10. But the salvation is a gift of grace, Acts 15, verses 10 through 11.